No, 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 no. You did not meet Zathras. You met Zathras.
And so it begins.
Well, the 1990s was a great time for broadcast television. I think the networks took a lot of chances. And, you could see it within the programming that came out at that time period. CBS dedicated late night instead of doing a late night show like the Tonight Show. They dedicated to TV shows. You had some great stuff. Like Silk Stockings, and I think one of the most, still to this day, a great vampire series, and it's underrated because most people don't talk about it like it used to be, is Forever Night, which was, if you hadn't seen Forever Night yet, it's such a good series. And then, of course, on the other side of the spectrum, on the independent stations, at the time, independent stations, before they became sort of networks, you had Xena and Hercules, which were also great TV series. And there was a whole slew of series that came and went, like Midnight Run, Bandit, and many others that just, they were there and they could have been good, but, they just didn't make the cut. There was one particular one that, that was out there, a dramatic one. It just didn't catch on to the viewers on there. But there was one great TV show that stood out, that was dared to challenge the Roddenberry fans at Star Trek, and of course, obviously Star Wars, to be top notch in its quality. A storyline that went 5 seasons. That's right, folks. 5 seasons. A story, from J. Michael Straczynski, who's been on so many projects that you wouldn't believe that he was on those if you look at his IMDb. And of course, we're talking about Babylon 5. I mean, a series that just basically stayed with us, and still with us. Even had one spin-off, an attempted spin-off, and several movies. But we haven't seen anything new from the Babylon 5 universe in many years, until today. But before we start, I just want to thank those of you out there. We've reached over 700 subscribers on YouTube. I really want to thank you. Now, let's push. Let's get to that 800. Let's get to that 1,000. Best way to do it is go down, hit that subscribe, and I hope that today is the day I've earned your subscription. And don't forget to like, share this video, especially if you're a Babylon fan. Share it with other Babylon 5 fans. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when other videos similar to this airs here on CutieCast TV, Man with the Show. And don't forget to also, if you're watching us on our other social media platforms, to also hit that flame, subscription, whatever they call for a bell, hit those notification bells over there as well. So you will know when we air there as well, because we sometimes put content up there which we call not YouTube likable on there as well. But do check them out. We are working on some stuff right now as we speak. So last week we basically had a short. We discussed that Michael J. Straczynski is it's already in the can. I'll tell you right now, it's in the can already. That he has done a Babylon 5 mini movie, and basically it is going to be an animated movie. Now, we don't have any scenes or anything as of yet. When will this air? We do not know as at this point, but it's probably soon. I would say if they're going to attempt to air this, since it is a WB on HBO Max, it'll probably be sometime after they switch over to Max, which is very soon, and it'll be probably either late summer or into the fall at the earliest. Because if the editing is done, if a lot of the CGI and all animation if that's all done, we will see it hopefully before the end of this year. And that's what I'm just saying for right now. It's not 100%. But you may ask yourself, what does this contain? What is the storyline are they doing? Because, they've been talking about, it's a reboot of the original series and stuff like that. Well, from what I understand from the Hollywood Reporter put out recently, it's going to be called The Road Home. And the first thing you want to know is who is involved in this? Who is the cast that is involved in it? And we're going to read into this. A week ago, Babylon 5 creator J. Michael Straczynski revealed that a new animated film from the franchise was in the works, and now more details are coming to surface. Babylon 5's The Road Home will continue the story he started in the 1990s, with a logline stating traveling across the galaxy with John Sheridan as he unexpectedly finds himself transported through multiple timelines and alternate realities in a quest to find his way back home. Along the way, he reunites with some familiar faces while discovering cosmic new revelations about the history, purpose, and meaning of the universe. This is what I expected from J. Michael Straczynski, and I give applause. If this is what we're going to get, if this is something that's well written to the way a Babylon 5 story should be, this will be a massive hit. Returning to Babylon 5 are cast members including Bruce Boxleitner as John Sheridan, Claudia Christian as Susan Ivanova, Peter Jurasik as Londo Mollari, Billy Mumy as Lanier, Tracy Scoggins, Elizabeth Lockley, Patricia Talman as Lita Alexander. Straczynski wrote that the film and executive producers Matt Peters, known for Batman and Superman: The Battle of the Super Sons, directs, with Rick Morales serving as supervising producer. Sam Register is the executive producer on the project. Now, you may ask yourself, well, who else is going to be involved? Because, most of the cast of Babylon 5 has passed away. Is there a way we can bring them back? Well, here's your answer to that. Here's the additional cast, according to the Hollywood Reporter, that we know as of today. Paul Guyette as Zathras and Jeffrey Sinclair. Anthony Hansen will be playing Michael Garibaldi. Mara Junot as the reporter and computer voice. Phil Lamar as Dr. Stephen Franklin. Petrol Michael as David Sheridan. Andrew Morgato as Jakar. And Rebecca Reedy as Dylan. Now, we'll be interested how the Jakar character will be played as far as the voice, because, no one has done the character eloquently as, to replace Andres Katsoulis. His voice for Jakar and his mannerism and stuff like that, since the very beginning of this series, It is so interesting. Now, that's so far what we know. I mean, I'm curious if Walter Koenig will be involved in it as Alfred Bester, which I consider one of the greatest characters on this series. I love his character arc. Wish they'd done more with it. That was one thing I've always said, that basically they needed to do a Psychor series with him on the forefront. And it never came to fruition. I mean, I'm understanding there's like one or two novels that they've done behind this with him in it, and I wish it came forward. Continuing on this article, Babylon 5 began life as a film that aired on TV in 1993, and the ratings were strong enough that Warner's ordered a series that ran 5 seasons, 110 episodes. Straczynski had continued expanding the story of Babylon 5. A 5-mile-long station has seen a neutral ground for various alien species to interact on the backdrop of a threat of war. It spawned multiple featured TV-length films, comics, and novels, as well as a spin-off, Crusade. Now, here's the thing about this, and before we get to the last lines on this, Warner Brothers let him, in the early parts, just full control. They didn't interfere. And that's what made the series so good on there. I think later on, when they hit TNT, and this is what happened, Crusade had promise. And I would have loved to seen a finalization on Crusade. Maybe Straczynski might write that. That could be an idea on there that they can finalize on that. Or it might be in this particular movie. You never could know. But let me finish off this article. Warner Brothers Animation and Warner Brothers Discovery Home Entertainment are plotting a summer release, as they say, for a new animated feature. Straczynski has plugged the new film with the words as raunchous, heartfelt, and non-stop, and called it a love letter to the fans. And I hope so. I really, truly hope so. Straczynski has been writing some stuff that's been like a little weird lately. That Sense8 I just did not enjoy at all because of the, one thing about, you have sex scenes in there. I mean, I don't mind if you put a gay scene or something like that, but just the way put, it was almost pornographic. And we find nothing wrong with pornography, but in certain things like science fiction stories, like what he wanted Sense8 to be, stuff that was on that was just really not, that didn't belong there. It just really didn't belong there. It just took away from the story itself. And to get this, and as animated, and the thing about it is it's coming as animated. He goes, "Hey, Matt Walsh, Matt, see, cartoons for adults." I gotta say that because Matt Walsh is one of the people out there that's saying, like, cartoons are for kids, anime is satanic and all that. No, it is another form of art. We discussed that, movie making, TV show making, writing books, stuff like that, anime, pornography, all that is art. Making is artwork. It's conveying a story. And one of the things is, if you can't, how can we put this? When you don't have the money to do something that extravagant, you go the way of animation. Animation can convey the story properly. There have been many writers that have conveyed it this way. That's why we didn't get a live action Heavy Metal for many years. I think they're still trying to do a live action version of it. It's very difficult on that. Same thing with Akira. Same thing, it took many years for a Lord of the Rings movie to be made, and you saw how extravagant it is and how silly that Amazon is doing a TV series, and they can't come anywhere close to what the original movies and the original animated movie that was done by Bashki many years ago. And some of the stuff that Bashki did, Fire and Ice and some of the others, that's stuff you couldn't do as a live action. Wizards comes to mind on that. It's such a great story. If you've never seen Wizards from Bashki, a great movie in itself. And there have been many other animated movies throughout the years, whether it's an American version or Japanese, or if it's a French, or British. There have been many different stories on there. So when you hear someone out there, they could be saying, well, cartoons are only for kids. No, it's not. It's artwork. It's conveying a story. If you look at a painting is conveying a story to you. There are those out there that doesn't have the conscious mind to know that that is what it is. You're conveying a story. That's all. That's all. So, tell me in the comments below your thoughts about this. I know this is pretty much important, very important. And considering since we're in the middle of the writer's strike on there, they may push up the date on there concerning on how long the writer's strike will go. And considering the state of Hollywood these days and some horrible TV series out there. I mean, there are some out there like Yellowstone and a couple of others that do stand out better than anything else that the networks have pushed out in a very long time. And I said this, Hollywood needs to look back at the 90s again. Take the chances you did back then. You created some great stuff. Some of it was good, some of it was bad, but some stuff shined out and turned out to be very, very good, like Babylon 5. And most of all, after the writer's strike, get rid of the political hacks, get rid of the activists, get back to writers in the writing room, not activists. Because we don't need that. We don't need that in our programming on there. We're shuffling back to the freaking days of the Germans in World War II. They did that back then. Okay? Look it up. It's in the history books of how they handle, the propaganda. They're not writers. They're propaganda writers. That's what it is. That's what they're doing. That's why things like Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, every other reboot and stuff like that, has failed. Has truly failed. Yes, they're working on another Alita Battle Angel. Great, fantastic. That's one of the best anime live action made by Hollywood that worked out. We need more of those. Let's get rid of get away from the superheroes. Let's get away from all these crazy things that Disney has been doing lately. Because Disney's on the verge of getting itself slammed out of business. It's time for the independent writers to come forward and show what they can do in this business. So until next time, don't forget to subscribe, like, share this video. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you for clicking on this video. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.